Hey guys, welcome back to DMAC Customs on the YouTube. Dave here in the garage. Bomb truck. So close to making it go in the last video, but got held up by a leaky thermostat housing, essentially, and a $2 O-ring stopped it from going. It's actually a couple of weeks later now, and today's the day we're going to see whether this mystery 350 will go. Hopefully it will. So let's get at it. I've got a new housing and O-ring and stuff, so we'll put that on and see if it'll go. Yep, let's do it. Okay, so just a little bit of a summary if you're new here. Bomb truck, 46 Chevy Pickup truck, had a 383 stroker in it. There it is. If you go back over a few videos, you'll see the kind of carnage that ensued with the old 383. For whatever reason, still not 100% sure. Possibly a cam walk, ate the end of the cam, but also had a crack in the number 6 bore. So chicken and the egg scenario, I don't know which one came first, or the metal through the motor, or the crack in the bore, or whether it was a kind of comedy of errors, simultaneous kind of thing. But I picked up a mystery 350 from a local guy for a really, really good price, which I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Cleaned it up in the last video, well, last couple of videos, and then plonked it in the hole last time, fitted everything up, and was just basically putting some water in it, not coolant, just water, just to see whether it would go, and the thermostat housing wouldn't stop leaking. This two-piece jobby down here. So that stopped me in my tracks, and then last week we had a big family thing on, so I couldn't get back onto it, and so this week we are back at it. Yeah. Also, during this week just been, my channel DMAC Customs right here on the YouTube finally hit 1,000 subscribers as we speak, currently at 1,005. So just want to say thanks to everyone who has subscribed and is kind of following along in my sort of bumbling around in the garage, as my description in my channel page says. Trying to make shit work with what I've got and what I know and what I don't know, and a little bit of luck. A lot of you guys subscribed for this, which is looking particularly derelict at the moment. It's got a flat front tire, old flatty McFlat flat like that, and it's become a bit of a storage thing for things at the moment. We'll be getting back onto that soon, but yeah, so stay subscribed please, and keep watching. I just need to get my watch time hours up now, and then hopefully yeah, the channel can kind of grow a little further and get a little bit more growth, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so let's get at it. We'll put this new housing on. I bought this little rinky-dink housing. It's got an O-ring again. I couldn't find just a normal old school gasketed one, so I'll try it with this new O-ring. The problem I was having with the old one is it's just a bit hard and wasn't really getting a good enough seal on the on this cast iron intake with its pits and stuff, so kind of hoping this new one will, but we shall see. So we'll chuck that on, see if it'll hold water, and start this whole debacle again. Okay, let's do it. Alright, just gotta chuck this on dry. How do you get these O-rings to stay in there when you're trying to get that on there? Get this going, and then chuck a bit of water down the spout there and see whether it leaks. What do I need? 3/8? No. 7/16. Yes. Alright, try some water in it. Okay, looks like my $16 little rinky-dink thermostat housing might be holding water. So I'll just chuck the hose back on, top off the radiator, tripping over things, and yeah, then might kind of run it on the starter motor for a bit with no ignition on and see if, just to sort of build some oil pressure, make sure it's gonna build oil pressure, and then kick it in the guts and see what happens. And then we'll have to figure out all the things I forgot to do the other week. Hey, let's do it. Come on, get up. Get up there. That's it. Yeah. Pinch that up. Okay, still seems to be holding water by the looks of things. Hopefully, it's looking good. I should actually check to see whether there's any other puddles underneath it. What is all that? There is a puddle under there of some sort. I need to investigate. Looks suspiciously like power steering vicinity. Unless it's just leftovers from when we were doing all the work on it before. The power steering doesn't look like it's dropped any. Better get a light and have a look. Where's my light? And a rag. Okay. Man, oh man. Oh, can I get under here? Where are we getting it from? Is it? Those two there have always been a problem to get tight. Potentially got a bit coming from there. It's definitely dripping off my new braided line. How's it getting on there? It's a big question. It's coming off here. It's looking a little wet in there, but these two steel lines have always been an issue to try and get tight. So I might just give those a little pinch up, see if I can get them a wee bit more snug, and then we will endeavour to turn the key. Try and get out under here again now. Okay, so got the hot rod hermit hooked up down here on the floor, so I'm gonna get this my little light in here and just balance that up on there like so, and just kind of turn it over. And flat battery. Yeah, winning. Damn it. Okay, so got a flat battery, and yeah, so I need to go and grab my jumper leads and other battery and kind of give it a kick in the guts and see what happens. In the meantime, no water running out of there, so that's still sealed up. Okay, so got some jumper leads hooked up. I'm just gonna give it a go and see if this thing will fire, and if not, then we'll worry about that when or if it doesn't happen. So let's get into it. Going live. Okay, so for some reason that should be fully charged. That should be fairly close to it. So I've got the charger on there, try and kind of get some electricity in. I should have thought of that during the week and chucked it on charge, but yeah, so I don't really know quite why we can't even get a fire. I did chuck, I got a little, oh there it is, in there. It's a little cheapy and the bulb's all wonky, so I don't know if that's not helping, but I couldn't get any spark there. But I've got 12 volts at the distributor, so unless my timing is way out, which wouldn't surprise me, it shouldn't be. I think I got it in right. Yeah. I wonder if I should pull the rocket cover off and check the valve closes and stuff and see where it's at. But I got to charge the battery up anyway, so I'll go and find something else to do while it's doing that. Okay, we'll be back in a wee bit once we've got some electricity in the old battery, and we can try and wind it off until it's flat again and getting this thing to run. Yeah. See you in a bit. Okay, so thought I would do a little bit of investigating, and I haven't plugged this into the distributor cap, so that may have some bearing on why I don't have any spark or it won't fire, aside from the flat battery. So I'll plug that in, and once the battery's charged, hopefully it'll go. What a dipshit, I was just like trying to pull the cap off and I thought, oh, there's wires, and then it was like, where are those wires going? And it's like, oh, what a anyway, so we'll wait for the battery to charge. I'll carry on farting around doing something else, and I'll put that cap back on, and I'll plug that in. Actually, I'll plug that in right now so you can witness me doing it. That goes in there, like so. Ta-da! What a egg. So that might, now that I've gone and bloody wiggled the distributor cap as well, so that'll have my kind of TDC timing out of whack, because I didn't investigate thoroughly enough. What a clown. There we go. Right, and we wait. Okay, so can't wait any longer. I've given the battery a bit of a boost, so but I'm just gonna give it a shot. So see if it goes. Ignition. Contact. Okay, so camera shut itself off, so I'm not sure what it picked up on that startup, but it just fired right off. I haven't put a timing light on it yet. It was getting up to temp on that gauge, which is ported into the head. That's sitting on just under well, it's probably about 193 Fahrenheit. Had oil pressure, not great, but typical small block Chev stuff. At idle on the factory gauge, which is running off the port here, it was peaking at 30 psi. On this one down here, which is what I put just above the filter there, which is leaking, it was sitting just over 20 psi, I think. Now I can't remember. So yeah, she runs. How well, I'm not too sure. Bit of lifting noise. Too scared to go anywhere near that now. But yeah, so I might chuck a timing light on it, sort of see where it's at, and yeah, then put it back together. Maybe get all the crap off the back of it and take it for a little run. See what she does. Fans hadn't kicked on at. They're supposed to kick on at 190 off that port, but the temperature gauge is reading off the side of the head, so I imagine it's probably reading a bit higher there before those fans kick on. But sorry, probably lighting's terrible. Seem to get up to heat pretty quick. I don't know whether that's a normal thing. I don't really recall. Mind you, I've got gauges in different places now, so it's going to read different to what the 383 did on those gauges. So in hindsight, I probably should have just put everything as it was, just so I could do a direct comparison. But yeah, here we are. That's all right. Yeah, so it goes. Yeah, but yeah, bit of lifter noise, and I thought that as I was like playing around with this, getting this motor ready, I kind of like some of the rockers did feel like they could do with a little bit of adjustment, but I won't mess with that just yet for a number of reasons. I don't know what kind of cam's in this, if any. I don't know whether it's solid, flat tappet, roller, anything like that. So yeah. But yeah, so I might sort of set up timing light, chuck that on there, see where it's sitting as it is at the moment, because it sort of idles away quite happily. But yeah, she is kind of heating up pretty quick. So yeah, then we'll go from there, I guess. Thermostat's open now. It wasn't opening at first and I was freaking out. It was getting really hot. Hear that? Yeah. So found a leak. Look, see where. Okay, so it seems to be that bottom hose is not sealed. Okay, well, not too much of a major, hopefully. Got about 10 degrees initial. I'm not sure what it is all in on this distributor again. I can't remember what we did the initial on the 383 or the all-in numbers. I know we had to modify it and put heavier weights and stuff like that in, or lighter springs and stuff. There was stuff done to that distributor to make the 383 run better. I was freaking out a little bit when the temperature was coming right up. So she's up around, yeah, she's up around 210 on that gauge at the moment. But yeah, you could see when the thermostat actually opened, because it didn't want to open for ages, and the fans only kicked on once. So I was like, uh-oh, what's going on here? I don't want to kind of cook it. But we're going to have to let it all cool down so I can see if I can address that leak, see what's going on with that. And in the meantime, I can clamp down the distributor, and hopefully when it cools down, maybe sort of have a look at that oil leak, because that'll just drip on onto the exhaust, unfortunately. And yeah, maybe clear away, put some of this stuff somewhere. I've got to put a wheel back on too, and yeah, maybe take it for a little run up and down the road, see what it does. Still got to put the cross brace back on, so I might do that before we take it for a run, because that kind of helps hold that stuff from going, the front end of stuff from moving back and forth. So we'll do that, and yeah, let it cool off and hopefully be able to stop that bloody leak. Oh, what a mission. Wonder why it did that. That's always, maybe I just didn't tighten it up enough or something. Anyway, but yeah, it's going, so that's good. Like I said, there's a bit of lifter noise, but I don't want to mess with that at this point. I just want to see what it goes like as it is, make sure everything runs cool and all that kind of stuff. Haven't got antifreeze in there yet, or coolant. I've just got just water in there, because just in case something like this happened and I have to dump the contents again. And yeah, worried that it might be a bit over carbureted, because that's a 750 Performer that was on the 383, and I haven't got another carbureting thing to put on here other than I think maybe a 500 Holly 2-barrel, but I've got a 4-barrel manifold, so yeah, so we'll have to have a look at that. I'm not sure that the throttles are turning quite properly. It was idling a bit high, and my tacho doesn't work at all, so, but that's not a big deal. I was more worried about the other two, oil pressure and temp, because I just, yeah, want to make sure that's all good. So put some stuff away and wait for it to cool off again, and yeah, see how we go. Actually, I just had a thought. I still had the vacuum advance hooked up while I was having to play around with the timing light, so we'll have to have a look at that again later on, see where it's at without the advance hooked up. Notice when I did rev it up a bit, my timing light just kind of like cut out, so but that has been dropped into a fan and fixed before, so don't know how accurate it is anymore. But yeah, seems to have stopped dripping for now, sort of. But yeah, it's only been a couple minutes. All I've managed to do is put the timing light away in the old hot rod Hermit and tighten down the distributor. It's hard when it's been like a couple of weeks since I got so close, and now I can't remember all the things I needed to do once I kind of got it going and stuff and needed to check and things. Obviously radiator hose, one of them. Top ones seem to be all good at the moment. I've got some heat on that now. Jeez, she gets hot. Oh crikey, she gets hot. I am a bit worried about how hot it did get just now before the thermostat opened and the fans didn't kick on and they didn't stay on for long. So we might, I can override it and just run the fans, but yeah, I noticed it runs a bit doggy when the fans are on at idle, so it kind of drops the idle, it draws a lot of power from the alternator. And yeah, but anyway, enough jibber jabber. I'll start putting this thing back together. Yep, start with a wheel. Yep. One of these. There we go. And this goes up on there. In theory, this is embarrassing. Try it around the other way. Why? Try the other one. Sometimes on this old stuff, you can have two bolts, nuts and bolts and threads the same, and they only work on one side, like that one. God dang it. That should do us. That's about all it needs, I think. Okay, so just tightened up that bottom radiator hose. It was surprisingly loose. I'm sure I tied it up, but oh, got water. I've been laying in it. That coolant. That's and also I pulled that oil pressure sensor off and put a socket on that adapter plug and gave that a bit of a seam too, and that was quite loose too. So maybe I've been a little bit conservative on tightening some stuff up. She's still feeling pretty hot on the tank. I don't want to take that cap off just yet until it kind of cools off a bit. But yeah, so we're kind of getting there. It needs to get put away over there. Otherwise I'll forget about it and it'll fly off going down the road and I won't know what that noise was, because that happens. But yeah, so far this is holding water, which is good. My $16 cat. I'm looking after my sunnies. Sorry, getting really distracted. I don't really know what I'm doing. I should probably put this panel back on. I'm not going to put the bonnet back on just yet until we run it on the road and see what it goes like. Should be all good. It sounds okay, other than a bit of like tappity, liftery noise. So far so good. But yeah, I'm going to go and have some lunch and then I'll figure out what I'm going to do with all the stuff on the back of the old on the tray there. All the heads of the disassembled 383. So I need to find somewhere to kind of put that. Oh, that's right, I've got that battery sitting down there. Cannot forget that sitting there. And yeah, find somewhere to put all that stuff out of the way for now, and so I can take this truck for a little bit of a run. Yep, but lunchtime first. Okay guys, so first time moving under its own power for quite some time. Feels like a lifetime. It's a bit rattly, that's the only thing. Bit of a vibration. Yeah, that's weird. It's like a heavy vibration. I don't know what that is. Idle's okay and stuff like that, but as soon as you put a little bit of revs in it, yeah, she's like, I don't know what that noise was either. Vibration. I'm not going to drive it any further until I've figured that out some. I thought it might be because, you know, drive shaft related, but it does it in neutral and park as well. Steam coming from the front again. It's at 200 degrees. Oil pressure seems to, on this gauge, seems to sit at about 25 constantly. It doesn't get any higher, but it's peaked out at 30 on the original gauge. Look, see? Hear that vibration though? That's gnarly. Anyway, it goes, but it's got issues, and we've got steam again, so let's have a look. Okay, we're just burning stuff off the exhaust, I think. Doesn't sound like a mist. It's weird. Hey guys, so back in the garage. Yeah, I ran a timing light on there, just, you know, did the vacuum, unplugged the vacuum advance and stuff, and plugged the vacuum port up on the old carbureting machine. And yeah, kind of best place I could get it to sit there kind of happily was I think it's sitting at about sort of 8 degrees initial. All in, I don't really know. I haven't got a dwell meter type thing, and I wouldn't know how to use one even if I had one. I've seen them used, but yeah, I ain't that smart. But yeah, I was just kind of trying to, yeah, 30 degrees, just trying to get myself into the realm, if you know what I mean, and hopefully be able to kind of dial it in by ear from there. But it's still got this kind of vibration. It's almost like it's not running on all 8, like it's idling kind of happy-ish, and then you get it to sort of just after above idle, maybe about 1500, 2000 RPM, and it's got this dugga, which makes me, I don't know, and yeah, it just kind of feels like it's not, it doesn't really sound like it, it just feels like it. So weird. But anyway, I got the little temp gun, and I was kind of like looking for a cold cylinder, and number 2 is significantly colder than the rest. As for why, I don't know. I'm going to let it cool right down now, and then I'll pull the plugs and see if they tell me anything. And yeah, even when I had my timing light on it, it was like, you know, it wasn't a consistent thing, but I wasn't sure whether I was getting a good kind of connection on the lead. I've been through and checked all my HT leads and made sure they're all in the right place again. Yeah, it moves under its own power. It's just not great, not right, you know. There's something up, and it's quite rattly, like clanging, and I don't know whether it's a knock or whether it's valve train rattle stuff. It sounds louder underneath than it does on top. Again, might let it all cool down, then I'll check the plugs and check the oil and see if I can see anything. Getting a lot of moisture coming out the exhaust, but I suspect I probably poured quite a bit of moisture into the exhaust in the last couple of 3-4 weeks of this exercise. Yeah, or condensation that time of year. But yeah, on this left hand side especially is a little bit more puffy than the other side, so could be the reason that this motor was taken out of the previous vehicle that it was in. I don't know, mystery motor, it goes but not great at the moment. So we will we'll persevere, but for today I think that's it for today. I have to leave it where it's at, and yeah, fires up fine. Like, yeah, I'll try it on a cold start I guess tomorrow and see what it does. Didn't fix my oil leak down here at the sensor. It's pouring out, nuisance. But anyway, till tomorrow. I'm a bit disheartened. Hey guys, so next day, just been out and picked up a block off plug because I couldn't get that to stop leaking, the fittings down there, so I've just plugged off that and moved the new gauge up onto the behind the manifold fitting, because the factory gauge was just peaking out at 30 psi, which means hopefully it's got good oil pressure, but that new gauge from down low was just sitting at about 25, so I want to try the new gauge up on the top fitting and see what it does. Meantime, I've plugged off that other one. I went and got some Permatex, try that. I tried thread tape and all sorts of crap on it before, and yeah, on this little concoction of stuff, but it just would not stop leaking. Other than that, actually got it running quite smooth after I signed off for the night. I thought I had a cold plug number 2, so I kind of went back into the plug lead and just made sure it was crimped up proper, and it's running really smooth. Still clattery, a bit chattery, and that vibration was still there, and it did make a weird shrieky noise as I took off down the street. Nothing to do with the tires, sadly. But why is this up on the air, you ask? Well, let me tell you. I was talking to a mate last night about the vibrations I was having, just at around maybe 1500 RPM and upwards sort of thing. My mate's got a lot more experience with 383 stroker motors than I do, and so he was kind of running through some possible scenarios as to where the vibration was coming from. Anyway, long story short, I put the flywheel flex plate, ring gear, whatever you want to call it, from the 383 on this 350. Now what I didn't know, and now do know, is that most 400s and 383s are externally balanced. 350s and down generally aren't. Occasionally you'll get a 383 stroker crank that is internally balanced and stuff like that, but the 383 and the 400s have extra weights on the ring gear and flywheels and on the harmonic balancer and stuff to balance them up properly. So we concluded that maybe the ring gear is the problem, and I've been under there this morning and had a look, and sure as shit there is a weight welded onto the ring gear. The kind of shitty thing is it's kind of sandwiched in between there and the gearbox, and to get that out and swap that ring gear out means either the engine or the gearbox has to come out and get out of the way. I've got 4 options. Three. I've got options basically. 1, pull all this back out again, get a new ring gear, flywheel, flex plate, whatever you want to call it, swap it out. That one's already a bit kind of manky anyway. The other option is see if I can disconnect the transmission from the engine and kind of push it back, which could be a shit fight in itself. And option Z is get in there with a die grinder or a little kind of cutting disc or grinding apparatus and see if I can kind of unpick the welds on that counterweight and take it off without damaging the ring gear any further, which is the path I'm going to take. Because it's like, I don't want to pull the motor and that back out at this point. I want to pull it back out when we're putting the 383 back in, most likely. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get under there with probably a little air tool with a little, cutting disc on it, and see if I can shave down the welds and slowly kind of pick that weight off it. Probably thinking, you're mad, but hear my logic. The ring gear's got kind of pretty nailed up teeth and stuff on it, so if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, all this is coming back out again anyway. So there we have it. So I'll show you what I mean. Okay, you see that thing there with those holes drilled in it? That's my weight that I need to remove from under here somehow. Hopefully I can do it. See the marring in the teeth and that anyway, so the ring gear is not in the best of shape. I've just got to try and figure out how I'm actually going to do this. I can see a weld in the middle and there's probably a weld on each end. I'm not sure how far along that weld goes, but I'll climb back out from under here. Yep. Disco lights. So yeah, I've got to find some toolage that can get me into there and maybe slowly kind of grind down those welds and see if I can pick that weight off. Wish me luck. Okay, hey, so about 2 hours later, and here we have it. I managed to do it without grinding a hole in the sump pan or in the oil filter. What a job. It's a true exercise in patience. Took all my patience and willpower to just not get some gruntier equipment under there and try to get in there. But this little die grinder with those, I think they're a 2mm cutting bit on them, she got the job done. But I did go through 2.5 of them. Oh no, one full one, it was already a half. Yeah, so maybe 2 of them. But yeah, got it out. Hopefully didn't do any damage. It's a mess under there though. I'm covered in this crap, but I just got to clean up and stuff. Well, okay, so got back under there, kind of dusted it all off. You didn't really need to see that. Tried to kind of give it a bit of a tidy up with a little roll lock. You couldn't really get in there very well, but I can't be bothered climbing back under there. But yeah, she's under there. I managed to didn't do any damage to the flex plate. There was obviously when they'd been drilling out this weight, the counterweight, for balancing purposes, there was a couple of bits where they kind of drilled a bit deep and have gone through the flex plate. My theory is leaving a little bit of weld around that kind of adds to the weight. Hopefully it doesn't crack or anything, but I should be alright for now, hopefully until we get the 383 rebuilt. Know what I'm saying? Yeah? Man, what a mission that was. No shit, that was about 2 hours under there just working and rocking the motor back and forth just with a screwdriver on the gear, taking it down, trying to figure out where the welds were without kind of getting carried away and cutting into the actual flex plate ring gear kind of parts itself, or cutting into anything important like the sump. I did manage to scratch it and stuff though, but yeah, so I'm gonna go and have some lunch. I'm hungry, and then I might have a bit of a tidy up, bit of a wipe up to see whether that oil, because where that sensor gauge, I should have just left that alone, that plug that was in there, but yeah, where that gauge was leaking, it's just kind of like now travelled everywhere, and my power steering's still leaking. But yeah, we'll see how it goes after lunch. Okay, so back down on terra firma. I was investigating that power steering leak a little bit more, and yeah, it's my high pressure hose, not those other hard lines, but worry about that another day. For now, I just want to see what happens with a cold start. Gas pedal's real heavy with these springs on, but on the cold start. See, it doesn't sound as rattly now too. I was wondering if that balancer was throwing, making it knock, throwing weight onto a bearing or something.
sounds different to the 383. Same exhaust, same manifolds, but it's definitely a different sound. Apart from the rattles. Vibration's definitely gone. It must have been those balancer weights on the flex plate. Wow, who'd have thunk it, eh? I never knew that. What's my oil pressure doing? Sitting on 30. Hard to read that down there. Oh. Have to remember I've got the equivalent of a small block Chevy in the tray, so I've got a block and most of the parts sitting there. Just a quick test run. The block rocking. Smoke again. Still burning stuff off, I think. Definitely still a bit rattly. About 30 psi at idle. This gauge, I don't know whether that's the gauge just peaks out. Surely it's got better oil pressure than that. It seems to be spewing it out all over the place. So, but man, it gets up to this temperature when you got a sensor in the block pretty quick. Well guys, that's where I'm going to leave this episode of DMAC Customs on the YouTube. Can I get the bomb truck going again? It goes. Seems to run quite smooth. Still got a weird rattle kind of at idle. It goes away when you rev it. Any insights, let us know. We'll keep investigating while I'm still trying to dial in a few other things. The driving vibration is gone now. When you kind of get it up to 1500 and above RPMs, it was kind of vibrating, and that was the balancer. This used to be one thing. It was like that on the flex plate, flywheel, ring gear. But yeah, so spent most of the day today kind of unpicking that very gingerly and carefully. But yeah, made a huge difference. So it's way smoother now. But yeah, revs up, does everything kind of nice. It's just got a weird rattle, like a, don't know, I can't quite pick where it's coming from. Doesn't sound like lifters, sound maybe timing chain sort of thing, but I don't know. How far do I go on this temporary motor? Do I just put up the rattle until it goes kaboom, or do I start digging into this motor as well? I already kind of have. The oil leak that I thought was that port above the oil filter There's actually the rocker cover gasket. The oil's nice and clean, so I didn't see it running down the side of the head until I was underneath earlier on. I thought, is that extra shiny there? So I don't know, like, how do I get the bloody rocker cover gaskets to seal properly? What else was I going to say? Yeah, power steering. My high pressure line is leaking at the rack end. At the pump end it seems to be okay, but at the rack end it's leaking. So I keep leaving little puddles of power steering fluid everywhere. So I've moved the tray up underneath the front, but I already just left a puddle on the driveway. I guess next on this we'll be looking at that, maybe trying to get that to stop leaking, trying to get the rocker cover to stop leaking, finish putting it back together, and struggle rolling around on the ground on my back in the garage, trying to get this thing dialed in. At least I can move it in and out of the garage now. I've just got to have a tray underneath it to catch all the fluids that want to come out of it, and unfortunately all the fluids want to land on top of the exhaust, so that's why it keeps smoking every time I fire it up. Yeah, burning the oil off. But yeah, so there we have it. It goes, and it, other than that rattle, don't know what it is. It actually is kind of quite smooth at idle and stuff like that. It's yeah, it's just got that weird rattle. I don't think it's got a cam in it, so I think it is pretty much a stock 350. But yeah, for the money, that's fine. Yeah, so as always, thanks for watching. Check us out on Instagram and on the Facebook if you're over in that neck of the woods. Oh, also thanks for getting me to 1,000 subscribers on my little channel in my little 2-bay garage in New Zealand. Okay, so according to the stats, that's better than what 99.1% of the people who start a channel do. How about that? So many people pack it in before they get to 1,000 subscribers. To be fair, it's only taken nearly 200 videos in 3 years. So like, share, comment, get it out there. And until next time, take it easy and peace. And thanks for coming on board again and subscribing. That was real nice of you. See you next week.